Hello, welcome back to another character analysis. Today, we'll be covering Tisha, the resident maid in Garden View. Tisha's a very cool character and extremely underrated in the fandom, I think. She has her very interesting and complicated relationship with Brussia, who everyone knows about, but even past that, she has a surprising amount of depth being hinted at. So let's take a look at her and see what we can find. Tisha's the main cleaner in Garden View. Now that it's closed and there aren't any human janitors, all that responsibility falls on her. She loves cleaning and she's super organized, but maybe she's a little too organized at times. Most of her interactions involve her talking to others about her job, like Astro asking for his room to be cleaned, or her complaining about Blot making a mess. Even her interaction with Bobette, who you'd think would have a super casual one where she tells Bobette what she wants for Christmas, it still goes back to cleaning when she requests cleaning supplies, and even treats getting a new mop with the same weight as like a new iPhone. And speaking of Bobette, Tisha's actually pretty similar to Bobette in a way. She's overworked, just like Bobette, but in Tisha's case it seems almost entirely self-inflicted. Bobette is more of an outside pressure due to her role as the Christmas maid and what Arthur instilled in her, and we see that she consciously wants to break out of that routine. But Tisha's different. Tisha doesn't seem to have any outside pressure. None of the tunes seem to force her to do her job, so Tisha's doing this more due to her own obsessiveness for perfection. She has a handful of voice lines that show the concerning degrees that she goes to when it comes to doing her job. She's a huge perfectionist. Tisha, good to know you're here. Of course, I'll be sure to keep this elevator real clean. How clean? Shining, sparkling, so clean you'll need a wet floor sign. Oh. This interaction with Boxton just straight up shows if the elevator isn't unreasonably clean, she won't be satisfied, even if the goal of an elevator that clean is unreasonable. She's just setting herself up for failure and frustration when she can't achieve her goal, and we know her job does cause her a lot of stress and make her overwork herself, as pointed out by Dazzle. Wow, Tisha, you're hard at work. Maybe overworking, even? Don't worry a thing, Dazzle. Someone has to keep things clean. That is true. Please take breaks. Even when she's supposedly relaxing, she's still doing something related to cleaning, like how she hangs out with her friend Shelly by helping her clean fossils. Hey Tisha, think you could help me again? Uh-huh, like cleaning a fossil, right? Yup, after this I've got a few to put together. Sounds fun, I can't wait. On a side note, her relationship with Shelly is really cute. Tisha often acts a little annoyed when people come to her for help since she's so busy, which is fair, but when Shelly does it, she's immediately so open to helping out, and you can definitely see a huge shift in Tisha. It's possible Tisha's behavior is caused by OCD, or at least a tune equivalent of it. I don't want to say anything for certain, since Quell has not confirmed anything of the sort. This is just my thoughts based on what we see of Tisha. And considering her twisted behavior, it's very obvious the story is leading in a direction where her obsession over her job causes her to eventually twist. So this fixation of hers is quite self-destructive, even if she doesn't realize it. But Tisha has another facet to her character. People often point to Brussia as being extremely proud and stuck up, but honestly, Tisha's not that far off from Brussia in that regard, even though she's more amicable to other tunes. When Coco approaches Tisha and asks if she needs help, Tisha is incredibly dismissive and refuses it. Not in a rude way, she's still nice to Coco about it, but if she was truly that overworked and tired, she would appreciate the help, no? This, to me, sounds like her being incredibly prideful of her work. So proud she won't let anyone else do it, since they might do it wrong and mess her up. Hi Tisha, need any help cleaning at all? Oh, no thank you Coco. It's very kind of you to offer though. Are you sure? You're usually the only one cleaning, so I thought he'd like some help. No, I'm fine, Coco. Thank you though, really. Well, alright, I guess. But it's not just that makes me believe Tisha has a lot of pride. Her interactions with V also make it sound like it. Tisha, any reason you're not talking with me? I have my reasons, V. Wow, so descriptive. I just think you don't appreciate certain things here in Garden View. Still, not very descriptive. Ugh, forget it. This interaction is a goldmine for both V and Tisha characterization to me. I feel like V is being genuine here. She can be blunt for sure, but I don't think she's purposely trying to make Tisha upset. She's genuinely asking because she wants to know why she's mad at her. One of her interactions with Tegan also kinda reveals V is bad at understanding when her tone is rude too, since Tegan tries to talk to her about her rudeness, but V thinks about it and disagrees. V, you could try to be a tad kinder. Kinder? You're acting like I'm rude or something. Well, sometimes you come off as a bit, how do I put it? A bit harsh? I don't think so. So it seems V has done something that accidentally upset Tisha and made her feel like V doesn't appreciate her. Which is fair, V does do that every so often due to her bluntness and inability to control her tone. Even when she's trying to be nice, she often comes off as rude. But instead of going to V and telling her what she did, Tisha just started giving her the cold shoulder. Genuine advice for viewers here? Do not do this! If you have a problem with someone, anyone, especially a friend, tell them. Doing these vague, I'm mad at you, but I won't tell you what you did wrong because you're supposed to know it, will just upset everyone. It's not other people's responsibility to read your mind. But tangent aside, this sheds some much needed light on the next section, her relationship with Brussia. You can't have a Tisha video without a sprinkle of my goat Brussia. Honestly, a lot of people paint Brussia as the sole wrongdoer in their relationship, and we don't know for sure what happened, but considering Tisha's behavior towards V, I wouldn't be surprised if it was more two-sided than people think. We all know how Brussia acts. She's very blunt. It's possible she said or did something that upset Tisha at some point or another. But rather than talk about it with Brussia, Tisha just started giving her the cold shoulder, like she does with V, and then both of their prides clashed and their beef spiraled out of control. What makes me suspicious of that is the fact that Tisha exhibits the same exact behavior she showed in her V interactions when talking to Brussia. Tisha, I've been working on tons of new pieces lately. You should, Right. You're still doing the whole ignoring me thing. Well, you're always welcome to visit, but you probably knew that. And it's very clear, whatever Brussia did, she probably would have listened to Tisha and apologized if she was told what was wrong. Tisha is genuinely one of the only people that can get through to Brussia and make her stop when she's going too far. That last floor wasn't so bad. Of course it wasn't. Not when we work so well with one another, right? Oh, come on! You can't even acknowledge me? I was saying a nice thing! Don't raise your voice, Brussia. Yes, Tisha. Brussia listens to Tisha, that much is clear. But besides that, there's other mixed feelings in there. Brussia, do you want something to tie your bristles back? You know I don't want help from you. Right, I just have a habit of asking. The show was years ago. Get over it. You know, I think you're capable. It doesn't feel like it. I do have a theory. A Dandy's World theory! Or more so headcanon of what happened between them. But since we have so little information, do take this with a grain of salt. I think it could tie back to the whole Tisha refuses help thing. What if one day Brussia came to Tisha wanting to help her with her cleaning duties, but Tisha refused? Even though Tisha probably didn't want to bother Brussia, Brussia's ego became wounded because what she took from that was that Tisha was indirectly saying she couldn't do something as basic as cleaning, and it probably spurred an argument. And now, Tisha's actively avoiding talking to Brussia so they can work things out, and Brussia is too prideful to talk about her feelings and explain her side. I believe they're both equally responsible for what happened. Brussia might have started it, but Tisha's behavior definitely worsened the situation way more than it should have. Their respective prides are stopping them from seeing eye to eye, and Tisha doesn't want to admit that what she did was anything wrong. Both Tisha and Brussia seem to have regular chats with Tegan, who kind of acts like a therapist to a lot of tunes, and Tegan reassures Tisha that Brussia is trying to be better. So Brussia isn't pure evil, she might genuinely feel bad about whatever happened. So, how have your tea party sessions with her been? Who's her? Oh right, yes, not much progress, but she's trying. I promise, she really is. Right. Thanks, Tegan. Tisha's entitled to not want to talk to Brussia anymore, of course, but they could still have a conversation about it instead of leaving those hard emotions lingering with no resolution. Tisha is an interesting character, and I really enjoy her. Close to Brussia's release, Quell mentioned she loves writing characters with flaws, and it shows. Not just with Brussia, with her pretentious attitude and her failed attempts at making connections with others due to her prideful personality, but also in Tisha. Ultimately, Tisha's a nice person who wants to make everyone happy. She overworks herself just so Garden View will be clean for everyone, but she does have communication issues that she needs to work through if she wants to ever restore her lost friendship with Brussia. Anyway, thanks for listening to me yap about Dandy's World once again. Goodbye.